Okay, we're going to start this recording from inside the garden because I have a guest here, which I'll show you right now. Yes, this is the guard cat, or that garden cat, who likes to come out here while we're watering the garden and get some outside time. And in the safety of the garden, we've had a fox running around lately and we're concerned about her even being very far from the house. Anyway, let's start right here at the gate with the pots, which I started a lot of plants in. And you're going to notice that they're well underway. In fact, some will grow exclusively in these pots. I don't take everyone out. But these are mostly squash. This one here has been a long time coming. This is Trombosino, and I finally got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants in there, and a few elsewhere. I only had one. I planted like a half a packet. These two here are transplants of Swiss chard, which we've already harvested some from. And more, this yellow squash in here. Cucumbers, I believe this is, as well as this. Although actually these, I think these are squash. I've taken 2 of them out and left 2 in there. And I planted more of them in some of these pots. So it's kind of a mishmash of cucumbers and squashes throughout all these pots. And down at the end here, more of that Trombosino squash, which I intend to spread out in the actual garden. Here's the bean wall, made up of pole beans. This extended a little bit this year. I have the lousiest luck. Something eats this stuff when it first comes up. But I just keep planting more seeds, more seed, more seed. I'm trying to get a lot going this year. So hopefully we'll have pole beans growing in good quantities. I even tried some on the ground, protecting them from whatever might be eating them with these, wire cages. So that's the outskirts. And we get into the rows here. Much better year this year so far for cucumbers. This is all cucumbers here. Then we get into Brussels sprouts. Yeah, the cages are over the smaller ones so they can get bigger. Nothing's gotten in so far. My neighbor is trapping woodchucks with me and has been very successful with my help. So we're doing better this year. These are all broccoli. And as you may see here, here's one forming up a decent head there. Over here, where the kitty is about to walk out of, that's Baby Cake. Say hi, Baby Cakes. She's one of our 2 older cats. We have 2 13-year-old kitties. These are all bush beans. They're Roma bush beans. This is a couple more squash plants. So I will have. It's looking like a good year for squash. I mean, there have been years when they just get eaten to heck, and both cucumbers and squashes do horribly. This year, it's looking good. Every year is different. You just never know what you're going to get. It's a box of chocolates. Peas. Sweet peas. And then we get into the perennial that everybody grows. The tomatoes. We have 3 types. I don't know which is which here immediately. I believe these may be the cherries. And I got 2 types of cherries. I got a couple of sweet 100s. And I got a bunch of these other cherries that are more oval shaped. We'll see how they work. More Brussels sprouts spread out a little more than those others. See how they come out at the end of the season. I love making these videos because you get to see how they start, the troubles we're having, and how it ends. Oh yeah, the Wall of Glory. The Morning Glory wall on the other side. And something unexpected up to a couple of years ago. Well, the Morning Glory wall is well underway. As you can see, it's starting to crawl up right there. There will be much more of that because, as you can see, it's emerging everywhere. All this stuff on the ground down here, it plants itself every year. All that stuff down there is Morning Glory. In this pot is Morning Glory. More on the ground. More in the pot. and so forth, all the way over to, well, about here actually. But there's some down there too, and there's even some way down here. So I don't know how far ultimately this will extend. We're near to the water barrel now. And there's some morning glories growing out of this too, as well as one Trombosino. So we may have a, oh geez, she got out. Judy, she got out. You better come and get her.
Trying to get back in, look at her.
Watch out. Kitty cat escaped. I should have put up a board. She's going to start she's walking to the edge of the woods. She's going to go behind there and try to escape into the brush. I know it. Hopefully she'll get caught. I usually block that. It looks like I've got to for the next time I'm in here. It looks like she's going to lay down in the shade right there. That's what she likes to do. But we're at the edge of the yard. We're a little worried about her and the fox.
She's hot.
I know. Anyway, further on this, we have something that wasn't here 2 years ago, but I've got a lot of this year. It is prickly, and it is, I believe it's either raspberries or blackberries. I don't know yet. None of them have actually come ripe. There's some ones that are close over here. They're getting red. Right here, these are red. But I don't know if that means they're raspberry or not. Anyway, we've got them mixed in along the same line as the morning glories. And I'm just letting them grow. So it's turning into a mishmash, unfortunately. But I want to see what I'll get out of it. Roses, planted the bush here a while back, grows up every year. And this year, really good. Most years I get next to nothing for roses, but look at them go this year. So this wall is looking really nice too. Okay, so I think we already did this row and that next row. We're getting into the second tomato row and the third tomato row. So it starts off with another yellow squash, some more tomatoes. For full-size tomatoes, I have early girls, and I have better boys, which are beefsteaks. So that's what this row is. And over here is yet another row of tomatoes and another part of a row of squash. I'm going to have yellow squash coming out my ears at the rate it's going, but it's better than not having much of it. I hope I get some Trombosino planted in some odd spots here. I may have to make a couple of extra holes in this to put some extra plants. And there's a couple of places where stuff died and I can put it in those holes. In other places, there's still a few places to plug it in. Like even over there where the corn didn't grow much on one side, I could stick one right in there and it would probably do okay. But this is another row of squash. Give me a ton of squash. This is going to be good. And I think I got zucchinis and yellow squash, and I'll have Trombosino. And this, I believe, is a Sweet 100 plantlet. I bought it. I got a couple of these Sweet 100s that I bought from the hardware store specifically to have that, a different type. The type I couldn't get the Sweet 100s by normal nursery, so I got these ones that are, well, they're shaped like a Roma, but there's a Roma, or those cherry, oval-shaped cherries. Anyway, there's two more tomatoes. I'm not sure what type. We'll find out once they start bearing. And then this whole row here, corn. Down at the other end, one last Sweet 100 cherry. And then at the tail edge of the garden, this edge, that's catmint, which I didn't harvest any of last year. And this is also something I didn't harvest any of that last year, but I really need to. It grows wild and it spreads. It's Jerusalem artichoke. which is edible. So that's here. Also, something that grows like weeds right in here and on the other side. And there's also some way over there behind a tree and a couple of other places. It is irises. I cut huge clunks of the stuff out from my the side of my garden up front, and anywhere I put it, it takes hold like no tomorrow. That one was planted a couple of years ago. There was some that I moved from last year. I guess that's mostly it. As you can look to the other side of the fence, you'll see more of those berries. And kind of wonderful is the fact that I also have this tree here. Whoops, I'm shaking. Familiar tremors. That is, it was a double apple tree, but it didn't take, the graft didn't take, so it's a single Granny Smith. And I've actually been harvesting apples from that, and they make great cooking apples. Last year, for the first time, I actually harvested every apple, peeled them all, and I made 2 big batches of apple crisp. But I bet they'd make a good pie too. So we'll see what we do with this here. And then all along this, don't know how obvious it is, there's bushes there, but growing on the bushes and trees are Concord grapevine. I think there's 2 Concord grapevines, but we used to have this at my mom's house. It was there when we got there, and it was there, probably 30 years or more, maybe. It may have been 40 years. It just kept going and going. And this one's way up in these trees now. So it's pretty happy. It makes lots of grapes every year, and I grab a bunch of them and crush them and add water and make grape juice. But I guess I could make jelly too if I was industrious. Yep, the garden here has a lot of garden goodies in it. I used to have asparagus, but that all kind of died out due to a number of reasons. That used to come up every year. Well, that's the early summer edition, because it is as of, well, let's see, it's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 1st of July. So we are right on July. So we'll try to do another one either the end of July or somewhere in August, and then one or 2 more as we get to the fall. We'll see how it all works out. We'll catch you then.